Moose party.
Dude, North Carolina is once again reigning supreme. People talk about Louisiana. People talk about New Orleans. People talk about Chicago as hotbeds for political corruption.
Foolery.
North Carolina motherfuckers back on top. We're literally throwing out thousands of ballots, collecting them unsealed, filling them in, and counting those as legitimate votes.
Democracy.
Where democracy is like legit under threat. Here, a woman. So the Republican who ran for NC9, I think, or whatever the hell that is. It's this fucking bumfuck, like. Rural area of North Carolina. He paid $400,000 to a Democrat whose job was to make sure the votes were counted honestly, to not count them honestly. That appears how this thing is coming out. So he wins by like 900 votes or something, and she fucked with tons of them. And there's all these like statistical anomalies. Like no one in North Carolina this term won more Republican voting. Or write-in vote, not write-in, absentee ballots. Democrats won absentee ballots in every single district except this one, which is wildly lopsided the other way. Apparently, absentee ballots were the way that they fucked with votes. There's thousands that were thrown out.
There was so much shit
the
across
FBI
the board
is
this
like,
election
coming in
on both sides.
Do you guys think it's fucked that we don't have some kind of voter ID system? Where's everybody on that? What's the room temperature?
I mean, I definitely think that we need a voter ID system. Like every nation, every Western nation, first world nation in the world has that. Mexico has that. You have to have an ID to vote. Like it's integral to democracy that you prove you're a citizen.
American Idol has it. We don't have. You could walk where I voted at this elementary school down the street. You could walk in and do the old restaurant reservation trick. Just read it upside down and say, "Yeah, that's me," and that's it.
And I feel like people act like requiring people to have voter ID is somehow at all akin to what they used to do like 60 years ago, 70 years ago, when they were like, all right, take this voting test. Have you seen those? These super manipulative
They're fucking
it's like,
hard.
It'll say, it's not even hard. It's made to be impossible. It's made to disqualify you because it'll say like number 6, it'll be like, circle the first O in this sentence aside from the overall first, or like whatever, like just written in a way that's deliberately super confusing, so that no matter what the person did, they're going to get disqualified. They used to do that to black people in the South, but like just saying, hey, you should have an ID, a government issued state ID. It doesn't have to be a driver's license; can just be a state ID. That's totally reasonable.
I wish someone from the blue side, and if people don't know, I'm the bluest guy on this show, I think, but I wish someone would explain to me why requiring an ID hurts Democrats so much, because it almost sounds racist to me. Like, oh, Democrats, they're too poor for driver's licenses or going to a bar or all the things, buying cigarettes, like all the things you need ID for. Like, really, is that a thing? Like,
or driving a car or going, you have to show ID in so many places.
Buying a tobacco or alcohol or renting a car.
Is the
or
assumption
going
that all these Democrats have warrants out for their arrest and they don't want to be identified when they go voting?
I think the assumption is that I think the assumption is a lot of them are illegal immigrants living here. They're not legal and somehow they're still voting.
That's what, I mean, if you believe Fox News, they would say. But that is horseshit, because you do have to be on the list.
But they don't require ID.
They do require you to say who you are, unless your state's different than mine. I voted in New Jersey and North Carolina, and you go in, you say, this is my name, this is my address, and then they look you up and make sure that your name and address is on that list, and then they give you a ballot.
So, yeah, in some cases
I mean, if that's true, I just don't see why anyone has an issue with it. Like the reason that I want it to be true is like, I like the sanctity of the election, right? I want to make sure that who won. Like whether I like that person or not, whoever wins should win. Like we're not. That's what the fucking election is about. That's why we're doing it.
People that don't even have IDs.
I don't know who those fucking people are.
I don't know who those people are.
That's a better question.
You meet these people all the time. Like Shroud, for example, does not have a driver's license. It's odd to me. Now he is from Canada, so maybe
that's on him. Like when you meet someone who's an adult who has a job and they don't have a driver's license or state ID, it's not like you're incapable of getting this done. It's like, no, you need to get this done. You need to take the steps needed to get your ID. Like that.
Well,
I'm totally on board with Woody, where it's like, who are these people with no ID? Like, who are they?
It's always odd to me when someone doesn't have a form of ID. It's bizarre because like I feel like it's a bit of a rite of passage to have a fucking government issued identification card of some kind. You know, I've got a couple. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute with me. And so when one side is like, no, we don't want to lose our voting block full of people who don't have any form of identification whatsoever. Don't worry about who they are. They know who they are. They'll give you a name, a name. I'm just like, well, that sounds kind of fishy to me that you're fighting for this so hard.
Yeah, I don't know why. It seems to be universally agreed upon that it hurts Democrats if you require an ID. And like I said, if you're in the bubble and you're an idiot, then you think that it's because they're illegal immigrants. But that's not the case. You need to actually be registered to vote, and you have to be a citizen to get registered to vote unless there's a mistake. It's just they think Democrats don't have IDs, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Someone else's name. What if they say they're you, but they don't have to prove it?
Well, I mean, people do get caught doing that. That's how like dead voters sometimes do it. But usually, like the dead voters like mail in.
Hello, my name is Matt. My name is Matthew
30 of those
Newtworth.
out of 15 million or 30 million.
I'm just saying it happens, and like I mean, and you guarantee you don't catch all those things. Like I don't think that's swaying any elections. I don't think that enough dead people are voting that it's swaying anything. You know, another thing that they do that like they shouldn't be able to do, like the news should not be allowed to do this, is calling races when there's like 7% of the vote in. Like if you notice that where they're like, all right, well, there's still 4 hours left in Virginia to vote, but I'm calling it for the red guy, or I'm calling it for the blue guy. And it's like, you know that people who live in that state are watching this right now. Like you're actively influencing an election by calling it early. People are going to think, oh, I may as well not even go, or oh, now
they don't call the votes before the polls close.
Stupid people. Fuck the people who don't need a license. Fuck the people who get influenced by the news and ads. Fuck them. They're idiots. They don't need to vote.
They call it
Fox did for Fox and CNN, or maybe not CNN, some other source, like a couple of them. No, I think it was Fox and CNN or Fox and MSNBC. Like two of them called races beforehand when there was still hours and hours to go. It was a big thing on Twitter.
They absolutely do that. But
yeah. Oh yeah.
There will be like a small percentage of the vote in or whatever, but there's people still in line, and they'll be like, we're making a prediction that Jimmy Popcorn is going to win the senator seat from Rhode Island. And I feel like if I'm in line in Rhode Island and it's like, shit, where's the front of that line? Oh, Jimmy Popcorn won? All right, let's call it a day, boys. I don't know. Y'all got any more stickers?
Yeah. I'm not stopping until I get my I voted sticker. If I
can't
can't brag about voting, what's the point?
Let me